we go. Looking at everything here. Making sure that it's good. It's okay. That's going to be okay. Sound quality. Great. Okay, I think we can now start our live webcast for this live tech show. Okay, hey everyone. Nice to have everybody here. So, here we go. So, hey everyone, welcome to this live tech show. This is live tech show number 51. 51 for November the 1st, 2016. So we are starting a new month already. And can you believe it? Christmas is soon to be here once again. Can't believe it. It's just incredible when you think. So, hey everyone, welcome to the live show. I will, of course, talk about a little something. Sorry for the phone here because I've been having a little bit of problems lately today, and I just going to turn off the phone here. Here we go. Sorry guys, and here we are. I was waiting for a few calls because there's something happening. So, okay, welcome to the Live Tech Show. Chat room is open on the YouTube Live. We have one moderator right now, Stephen Mail, and we'll add moderators as we go on. Moderators will be there to remove all the idiots that would try to get into this chat room and create havoc. So, basically, welcome everybody. Everybody in the chat room. Nice to see that some people are joining in. So, if you have a question, you can send it at this email address, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. And sorry for the lighting today, but I'm waiting for my lights that are still not arriving from China. But I think for next week, there's going to be even more lights. It's going to be like evenly lit. So sorry for the inconvenience here. The importance is that everybody knows and everybody sees everything. So hello everyone, and hello everyone in the chat room. Really cool to see an active chat room here on the live show. I think that's one of the fun things that was missing. And I have a chat room on the other channels, the radio channels. And of course, some of you go on the radio side also and say, hey, that's fun. You should have a chat room here also, so it's now open. So it's pretty cool. Okay, well, one of the things that we always talk about is, of course, donations. If you want to donate, patreon.com/radioandcomputers is a great place. PayPal at the Yahoo address you see here. But one thing that I have to say, today we have a raffle. Today we have a little contest that we started last week. And the rules are that if you send me today, because, you know, some people send me during the week, I've got 2 entries right now. So only 2 entries. So the odds of winning a tablet are pretty good. So we have Stephen Mail and we have Not Tran that have sent money to participate in today's raffle. Of course, you have until the end of the show today to participate. So if you send $5 or more to the PayPal address during the show, I'm adding you to the raffle today. The raffle consists of an 8-inch tablet running Windows 10, offered generously by Tim Robinson, and it includes many little things. The only thing missing is an adapter, but it's a standard port, so pretty much everything will actually work to charge it. But apart from that, a nice 8-inch tablet, almost not used. Tim does not use it at all, or almost not. And basically, it's a nice little gift for very little. So the odds are good. 2 donations right now. odds are pretty good. So basically, I think that's going to be cool. And so I'm keeping the two names here. I got my Halloween hat that I will be putting the names in. So if by the end of the show nobody else, well, you know what? Two papers means it's a 50-50 chance of winning right now. So hey everybody, yep, Tim isn't there today. Sometimes he does arrive a little late, and I know he's a little busy man. So basically, $5 or more PayPal donation will bring you a participation into today's raffle. Okay, we're gonna start with our questions. I'm going to deactivate the ringing of my cell phone so that it doesn't, ring while we're actually doing the show. So welcome everybody to the live show today. Okay, we have a few questions about program defaults. One of the questions comes from yes, Carol, I'm using my Halloween hat from yesterday. I think that's the perfect setup for this. Okay, we have Steve Martin that says that he is using Microsoft Office Outlook, and when he wants to open something, well, he gets a pop-up that says, what you want to click, and he says it clicks on Internet Explorer, and check the box, always use this app, and hits OK, but it doesn't always use this app. It keeps opening this box every time. If you click on Microsoft Edge to always open with Edge as it was intended. The only problem, I don't want to use Edge, I want Internet Explorer. Okay, so first things first, it depends on what you want to open. If it's links for the internet, they should always open with the one that you choose default. But sometimes we want to open different forms, so different formats, and it doesn't understand that format, you also want it with Internet Explorer, so that could be one reason. And as you go through, it will eventually fix itself because you will have chosen Internet Explorer as default. But there's also another thing. If you go into the Cortana search on the bottom left and you type default, you will see default programs. And the default programs will bring you to the settings. And what you have to do is go into web browser and make sure that on the list here, you choose Internet Explorer. Do it from here instead of the check mark that is in the in that little box. I think it will be better if you do it from here. That will change the default to whatever you want to use. But Windows 10 being Windows 10, there's another place where you can check out where you have a default. If you right click on the start button, or even you can click control panel, or you can also search for control panel in Cortana. The good old control panel also has default programs. So if you're in the list view, change to icon view and go to default programs. Here at the top you have set your default programs, and in here you will have the default programs for all sorts of things. So one of the things that you'll want to do is, of course, choose on the default programs what you want. So for example, on the left side you have Internet Explorer in the list, and you have set this program as default. That's what you want to click also. So two places to check. Make sure that they are okay everywhere. You should have that default. Now, one thing that I was trying to remember, because I know that Microsoft Outlook also has some of its own defaults, and I was wondering if there's a default maybe from Microsoft Outlook also. But start by this, and if it still doesn't work, let me know. I'm going to check it out to see if there's some other setting, but I think that should fix your problem. Another question that I have about defaults is the default programs in the settings menu. Somebody telling me, his name is Matthew. Matthew's telling me, look, I've seen that there's default in the settings in Windows 10, but I also see that there's default in the control panel. I wonder which one is the best to use. Well, usually the ones in the settings menu is the best to use. And of course, the question you're asking me was the difference between settings and the defaults in settings and control panel. Well, there's much more settings for default programs in the settings and the control panel than the settings menu. Settings menu has the basic ones for, you know, how to open pictures and how to open what to use as a web browser and so on, or what to open when you have music. But the control panel also has defaults, and you can there are more defaults there with different programs. So if you don't see, for example, in the settings menu, you might not see some third-party programs. Somebody was telling me this week, I saw a comment of somebody saying that they don't see what why they can't change the setting to put DOM pod player as its default video player and so on. And basically that is a problem that might be fixed by going to control panel, because yes, the settings menu does not always show the correct things. So really sad. So okay, what else do we have here? Continuing on with the questions, hard drive partition questions, and this comes from let's continue on. Let's just check it out here. Okay, so Steve Martin, about the defaults, I hope it's got fixed. Tommy, aka Viper the Bookman, was talking about partitions, and you don't remember where to go to see partitions. So for seeing partitions, and I have several questions. I have also 2 questions about partitions that come from Eric. Eric is asking me how to view the difference between 2 separate partitions on the same hard drive and 2 separate hard drives. How do you know the difference? How do you see the difference in Windows? So first of all, to view the partitions, the best thing that you can do, you can go into your File Explorer, and on the This PC icon on the left, you can right-click on This PC, and there you'll have Manage. Manage will open the place where you can actually manage the local hard drives and the external hard drives. And so I will answer all of the questions at the same time. When you click on Storage and on Disk Management, it will show you a graphic of your different hard drives and the different partitions it has. So here you see I've got 3 different partitions that are simply a recovery, a system reserved, and the main hard drive. And on the left side, you can see there's disk 0, disk 1. So on disk 0, it says I've got 3 partitions. That means 3 partitions on one drive, which is disk 0. If you have 2 partitions and you're wondering if you have 2 drives or 1 drive, well, 2 drives means you would have a partition on disk 0 and another one would show up on disk 1. So that's the difference. You would see disk 0, 1, 2, 3, depending on how many drives there are plugged in. You can see the external hard drives in here also. So by looking here, you'll know if you have, for example, a recovery partition. If it's still there, it's going to show up here. If you have, several partitions, or maybe you have some unused space because it's blue usually, but if you have a partition that is black, it could be that that space is not used, and you can actually activate it from here by right-clicking on that partition and making it active. Now be careful, if it says recovery and it's black, don't touch, because some recovery partitions are formatted in a very unique way and they will not show up as physical disks in the disk manager. So that's pretty much what you need to know in aspect of hard drives. The disk manager, by right-clicking This PC, that's where you'll go into Storage and see the hard drives that are plugged in working right now. Another question that I got is from Sophia. Sophia says that she is wondering, her tech guy has, of course, installed her new PC, and she says that he actually partitioned the drive, and she was wondering why would somebody partition the drive, as she doesn't see the usefulness in this. So here's the thing. When you install Windows, what's happening is that often when you do a clean install and you want to keep everything, if everything is in the same drive, it's complicated, because if you want to clean install and have a format the drive, well, you'll have to take all the files, the pictures, the documents, move them somewhere else. By creating partitions, what your tech guy is probably doing is making sure that on the partitions you have your document, your music, and your, every folder in the computer, video, download, all of that is on the second partition. And what that does is that if he ever needs to clean install, format your hard drive, and reinstall Windows, he knows that the stuff is on the second partition, and that is not touched when you format the main C drive. So that's probably the reason why he did that. It's a very common issue. For example, on some of my clients that format all the time, that's what I do. I will create a separate partition and link the documents folder, the image folder, and all of that to that partition. So if for some reason we need to reinstall, we need to format the drive, doesn't matter, everything's there, we just have to link again and all the stuff is there. And it's a very good thing for a tech guy also, because backing up files for a client is a long task. It can take a very long time, and a tech guy doesn't really like to do that. I don't like doing that. Often when somebody's saying okay, I have to reinstall Windows and reformat the drive, I always tell them, well, you'll have to back up your stuff, because I'm not going to do it. If you force me to do it, it's going to cost you, because it just takes too much time, basically. So that's the point in partitioning, and that's why your tech guy probably partitioned your hard drive. So that will let you, reinstall, reformat, still keeping your files. So of course, how to know how many partitions I have? What we just shown before, which is the right-click the this PC on Windows XP, Windows 7, I believe it's computer. You can right-click computer and go to manage, go to storage, and make sure that you check the partitions. And you can also know if there's disk 1, disk 0, disk 1. If you have more than one drive also, it will show up here. Microsoft Edge browser, and a few questions with that. So I hope I answered your question about partitions, Tommy, also. And also you got a question before we move on. You says that about Microsoft Edge. Mentioned a week ago in your news bulletin, Microsoft is going to start putting Microsoft Edge in the Windows Store instead of having it inside the as a desktop program like it is right now. And you were wondering about how this would when this would happen, and also you give your own opinion saying that you use Microsoft Edge and you've got no issues, and that everything seems to be working well for you. So cool, nice to see that Edge is working well for you. And yes, at some point there is going to be a Microsoft Edge browser that will come from the Windows Store, and it will be updated through the Windows Store. When that will happen, nobody knows. They're talking about it. They say maybe next year. Is it something that's going to be in the maybe the next update in the month of March, which is a creators update? I don't know. We just know that eventually Edge will be an app from the Windows Store. When that will happen, anybody's guess for now. We have also Victor. Victor says hello, and he's in Romania, and he stumbled upon my shows, and he likes the live tech show and Learn the Tech. And basically, the questions that he has is, first of all, that he watched one of my videos where I was talking about the extensions in Edge, and that he also noticed that some web extensions that you can get for Microsoft Edge seem to freeze Edge. And you know what? I totally agree. A lot of the web extensions available for Microsoft Edge will freeze Edge. And I run it without extensions right now. And since the last cumulative update last week, I mean, I'm having 0 issues. It's working perfectly. It's fast. It's really, really a good browser. So I'm having great time using it. Basically, I've gone back to Edge now. You also say that on one of your computers, YouTube doesn't work. And it says you need Flash to have it working. Where can I get Flash for Edge? Well, Edge has Flash integrated. You have some other issue because it's supposed to work by default. Not just that, but YouTube, if it doesn't see Flash, will ask your browser to simply run it in HTML5. So there's an issue with your browser with Microsoft Edge on that computer. There's something wrong. I would maybe refresh the computer, because I would not be surprised that it could be some kind of virus or malware that you might have been in contact with, because it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to work, and it's supposed to work quite well, basically. So basically, I think everything should be all right. So refresh, go into the settings and reset the PC by keeping your files if you want, but I think something's wrong. Your YouTube should work in Microsoft Edge. And you also asked the question that a friend of yours was mentioning, that Edge is just Internet Explorer with a new icon. It's not. It's a different browser, and it's a reworked browser. It does share common basic modules that Internet Explorer has, but in the basics, it's a totally rewritten from scratch web browser, and it is not Internet Explorer. So no, that is not the case. The Microsoft Windows event. We have some questions, and before we go, because I just got reminded by this, tonight I will not host a Learn the Tech because I have several things that happened. I had a lot of tech jobs, so I didn't have time to really build up the Learn the Tech show for tonight. But also I have an issue that's happening right now that I need to take care of, so I need time to actually work on some of the things. And so for some of you that might be saying, hey, there's no news bulletin today, yes, it's coming. It's going to come after this live show, because as I started the live show, I got home about half an hour before the live show with my tech jobs today, so I didn't have a lot of time. So the news bulletin will come later today, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. Okay, let's continue on with our questions. Let's answer a few questions. Actually, we have comments and answer questions at the same time. We have Stephen Mail that had commented on how he found the Microsoft event boring. And he says, frankly, between all the 3D stuff and $3,000 new Surface computer, I was totally bored because one does not play any games. How many people that you know can afford to pay $3,000 for a computer? That's the starting model, and so on. 3D Paint doesn't care about that. So, and he says next time the creative update is released next March, April, I will wait and not force the update to happen. Perhaps if I had waited, I wouldn't have had needed a refresh. Even at the end of the event, Satya Nadella spoke and said really nothing. I would still like some type of touch device, and I will keep looking until I find the right deal. So here's the thing. So, I understand that it's not necessarily something that is interesting for everybody, depending on what you do with your computer. The Microsoft event was unusual in its direction. I got to say that the Microsoft event last week, I think for everybody that is following Microsoft, was kind of surprising in what they wanted to do. But one of the things that I think it's happening is that in that event, they tried to show that Microsoft is like Apple. You get the Apple stuff, meaning that they are going after creators that are always Mac users most of the time, and showing interesting devices. My personal opinion on that event is actually I was not bored, and I actually found it really interesting. But that's because I also am intrigued by all the new devices that they come out with. Yes, these computers are very expensive. The Surface Book is expensive. That new Surface is very, very expensive, Surface Studio. But it is not something that Microsoft was showing off to the average person. It is something that they are showing for people that run businesses that have creative skills and that need devices that do interesting stuff. That Surface Studio, I can see somebody that is drawing or making cartoons, and that they were showing actually. Or anybody that's using software that they need to draw stuff with. I think that appeals a lot to these people. And you know what? They are in the right direction in a sense, because Surface Pro tablets and Surface Books are selling much better than Microsoft ever anticipated. There is a market for that. They are going after the professionals. Even the Surface tablet, the Surface Pro tablets, they have seen that a lot of students actually bought a Surface Pro. My nephew bought a Surface Pro because he finds it so cool to bring that to school. They are higher-end devices, and they do cost a lot more money. But most of them are made, and thought of for professionals. That demonstration showed professionals doing work. Not, a little kid just going on the Surface Studio and doing things. It's clearly meant for a specific market. And they're trying to go after, partly the Apple way, because that's what Apple always wanted to do in branding their computers as professional computers. And, iMacs are $2,000 and up. And so there are some people that will appeal to. Frankly, if I had $3,000 loose to play around with, I would actually order a Surface Studio. I find it really cool. I find the device is extremely well designed. And it's also another thing that I did like personally about the Microsoft event. The fact that the Microsoft event showed how the Microsoft event showed how the Microsoft is just so innovative, so good in innovation right now. And there was a very, very interesting thing that happened, and it's that there's a podcast that I look at. Sorry, I'm just having a little issue here with my PC for a second. Here we go. So, yep, So basically, the podcast that I was looking at this week, the guy was showing how suddenly Microsoft is really cool and innovative, and how Apple is boring and doesn't do anything. And the Apple event was really boring. I mean, what the hell you want to do with a MacBook Pro refresh with a little touch bar at the top instead of F keys? Where's the innovation in that? There's nothing. But I don't know. So it's going to be interesting. But one of the things is that the Creators Update will have a lot of updates and a lot of new things that will be there. And I would guess if we had to choose what was the biggest problem of the event last week, is why didn't you show more of the everyday new stuff that will be in the next version of Windows? That's kind of weird. And I gotta say, naming Windows 10 the Creators Update, I think it surprised everybody. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll really see what happens, basically. Okay, unknown features of Windows 10. Unknown features of Windows 10. There's a comment here that is interesting, and also it made me think about how there's a lot of little stuff that people don't know. So Albert Zappa was wondering why no one ever talks about Edge being the only browser that can show the lyrics to songs. And that is nice on some songs where you can't understand the words. I've seen a lot of videos about the features on Edge, but not much about this one. I do use 5 browsers because each has features on it that maybe the others don't. So Albert, you are totally right. It is one of the features. And actually, when you go to YouTube with Microsoft Edge, since the anniversary update, if you listen to music and you click a song on YouTube, on the upper right corner, there's a little Cortana circle that pops up and says, want to have the lyrics? And if you click there, you'll see a pop-up that will actually give you the lyrics of the song you're listening to. That is a very cool feature that a lot of people don't know about. I actually I don't even know why I haven't made a video about it, because every time I watch or listen to music videos on YouTube here, I always see that bubble, and sometimes I do click on it to see the lyrics of a song. So that's a very, very nice feature. And you are right, Albert. It's a nice feature that basically, no one really talks about. Also, another feature that a lot of people don't know about is that when you have appointments in your emails, Cortana will give you reminders even if you didn't put it in calendar. So say you're receiving a email that says, hey, don't forget, Friday at 6 p.m. is our annual get-together. Well, Friday, during the day, you'll have Cortana pop up and say, don't forget, at 6 p.m. today, you've got an event. That's also neat features of Windows 10. And by the way, all of these features are thanks to Cortana, because Cortana, the assistant Cortana, does this. If you, for some reason, have turned off Cortana, don't search for song lyrics or no reminders for appointments that would be, for example, in your email, because it works only when Cortana is actually working. And finally, another thing that a lot of people don't know is that if you have several Windows 10 computers and you have the same Microsoft account on all of them, sync between Windows 10 PCs. That is also something that a lot of people don't know, that the different stuff sync together, all your settings, and even the way, the feel of your Windows and how it works. So kind of very interesting. That and a lot of people don't know that. Okay, Marilyn Parker going crazy because she followed the video that I posted, and she can't unlink the Skype account from her Outlook mail, and she is to a point where some people, actually, she's thinking of moving to some kind of other, some other email. So yeah, I did look at your link. I did look at many links, and I'm not really sure what's happening. And I'm wondering if it's not something that's happening with Outlook.com itself, because all of the people that are talking about how they can't unlink stuff. You know, for me, I had 2 Skype accounts, and I have 2 Outlook.com email accounts. And I tried it, when I saw your email, I tried it on my other account, and it worked perfectly. So I'm really wondering what could be the problem that your Skype doesn't want to unlink from Outlook.com. The only thing I would make sure is make sure you got no Skype at all, nothing about Skype in your Windows 10. So make sure that you type, you know, just go to the Cortana search box and type Skype. Make sure you don't have a Skype preview app or any Skype app or desktop app of any kind with Skype on your PC, because maybe that's what's happening. But apart from that, I'm really wondering why you can't really unlink, because it's weird. I unlinked 2 of my accounts and don't have any issues with that. So it's very, very weird. So very, very weird on that. So some people complaining about video loss. Is everybody having video loss? Because if it's just 1 or 2 people, it's not from here. If it's everybody, if everybody has video loss, then now maybe I could just stop and restart the stream. But just let me know who's losing the video and not, and we'll see how many people, because I don't know. We'll just report back if some people. So you know, most people seem to say that everything is all right. So I would guess that it's not something on my end. I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, YouTube is YouTube. And so thanks, everyone. Pretty much everybody's saying it's good. So I would guess it's not on my end. You know, usually when there are problems that are on my end, everybody suffers the dropout of live feed. But well, that's a good thing about the chat room also. So it seems that seems everything's all right. So we'll continue on without touching anything. You know, sometimes it's better not to touch anything. Who never knows? Okay, and you know, this is a feed that does send a lot of data. It's 4 megabits per second. I see it here because of the stream out, because a 1080p feed is 4 megabits per second. I also see that you know, sometimes because I have a progress bar that is green, yellow, or red in the stream out, and they're checking out if how the quality of what's going on. It stayed green all the time, so I would guess that it's maybe, you know, could be YouTube. So sorry for everybody that has issues. And you know, this is what I find funny actually of the YouTube Live, is that everywhere it says beta, meaning that it's kind of unfinished. And you're like, okay, so they expect us to do live shows in something that's unfinished. So who knows? Okay, let's continue on with our questions. So look, I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on what could be happening, and the fact that you can't unlink. I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as, you know, removing completely the email, but I don't know. Let's I'll try to find something. I'll be checking that out again this week, and we'll see. Okay, other questions. The other questions for Outlook.com come from Joseph. Joseph says, hello, I've got a little problem since the upgrade to Outlook.com. I've got the upgrade, the new Outlook.com, for the past 2 weeks, and it seems that I lost my contacts. Is there a way to get them back? I would really appreciate that. Okay, I know that some people did, because Microsoft did issue a little blog bulletin, or they posted a bulletin on their Microsoft blog, TechNet blog, that said that in one of the sessions where they upgraded mailboxes, it might be possible that some people lost contacts. They even say that some people might have lost some emails. And it happened apparently in only one upgrade, meaning that you are of that upgrade of that day and that time that didn't go well. And they say that it affects about 100,000 users of all the millions and millions of users that they have. So they are saying that if you have suffered a loss, and that they are looking into what's happening, and not to worry that it might actually come back to normal in the next few weeks. So they're looking if they can use backups or something to kind of bring back stuff. And so it happened for a little chunk of users. Unfortunately, you're one of those that was in that chunk, which is sad. You're also asking me, is there a way to revert back to the old Outlook? No, you can't. They've pushed everybody ahead, and there's no way to go back in time, unfortunately. So sorry about that. Hey, you are watching the Live Tech Show from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. My name is Gilles. This is Live Tech Show 51. You can help me with donations at patreon.com/radioandcomputers. You can also send a donation to PayPal at my Yahoo email address. Once again, there are 2 names right now for the entry to winning Tim Robinson's. It's 50-50 chance right now between Stephen Mail and Not Trang. So that's pretty good odds. And all you have to do is, if you want, $5 or more to the PayPal address that you see here, and basically you will be entered. So if by the end somebody has sent me, I will so $5, that's it. Sorry, distracted. So $5, and of course you will be entered in the raffle, and I'll be checking the PayPal account at the end of the show and making the live and little contest. So really a 50% chance. That's pretty good. Pretty good when you think about it. And if a few more ads, it's not that much. If we'd go to 5, it'd still be 20% chance, which is not too bad. So hey, think about it. And Marilyn Parker says, "So I'm wondering if the fact that I can't unlink has something to do with a previous connection to MSN or Windows Live Mail. Everything I've read so far says that the unlinking has to be done on the Skype side and not through Outlook. But who the hell knows with Microsoft these days? I don't know. It is possible. I got to say, I've never used Windows Live Mail, but I did use the MSN Messenger and stuff like that in the past with this account. So I don't think that's what's happening. It is very weird. I gotta say, it's very weird, and I'm pretty sure it's happening on the side of Microsoft. I wouldn't be surprised. So, random questions. We are at random questions. Let's check it out. Random questions. Yeah, like I said, by the way, there's no learn the tech tonight because I had first of all I had a lot of live shows for the radio channels, including a special one last night. I had a lot of tech jobs. Friday, yesterday, I just got home half an hour before. You know what? I even was scared that I would not be here at the time for the tech show at 3 p.m. Eastern. At some point because it was really long. And finally, thank God, the client told me, you know what, the hell with what's on the whole hard drive. I don't want it anymore. So you don't have to transfer it. And it was like, oh God, I'm going to save an hour and a half at least. So it's pretty cool. So with all that, I didn't have time to prepare. And I don't want to do a half show, you know, like babble about something that when I'm not prepared. So I thought instead of doing that, maybe, you know, this live tech show will be a little longer and maybe use questions from the chat room when I end the questions I have in email. Maybe you people would find this fun a little bit. So I'll make this show a little longer instead. So, okay. The random questions are from... let's go here. Let's go here for a second. Okay. Okay. A few things that happened. First of all, you have there's Albert Zappa that has another question. Says, I was wondering what to do about a problem I've seen with some websites that I visited. It has nothing to do with ad blockers because it doesn't matter if I used it or not. Some sites I have visited have a block of questions to answer and grays out everything else unless you answer their questions. I might be wrong, but I don't want to answer all of those questions because someone is making the choice for me. Do you think this is something that a lot of websites are going to do in the future? I think from all the emails I have sent you, I am 70, and I guess by now I don't mind a lot of things, but I love my freedom. And I guess I don't like being told what I have to do or something. Thanks for being a good sounding board and for the wealth of info and willing to give out freely. Thank you, Albert. And yeah, you know what? What's happening with websites? Some of the websites, because of ad blockers tend to not just block ads. Ad blockers tend to block all sorts of cookies that give the possibility to a website to track what you're doing so they can display ads correctly or choose what type of content they're going to send you. The thing is some websites that you go to might just be you know, they aren't able to see all the information they want, and what they do is they add this new to add for this new little you know, information page. And I understand fully that you don't like that. You know what, I don't know how many websites I went to, and to view the content I had to fill out a little form. And every time I see that, I just say the hell with it. I'm not going there. I do not also like to have all the personal information to give out. You know, even websites that sometimes ask me for personal questions or personal information. just to register to them. Most of the time, I just the hell with it. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. That's for sure. So you know, basically, that's what's happening. And I agree with you. It is sad that it is rather sad that basically a lot of these websites want to have personal information about you to a point where it's annoying. And I totally agree. And you know what? I think with ad blockers being more popular, there will be more and more websites that will do things. I know that YouTube is rolling out ads that are not being blocked by ad blockers. I know that a lot of websites are now rolling out ads in a certain way that ad blockers can't remove them. It's an ongoing war between ad blockers and websites. What I would always say about ads is if you like the content of some people or some places, whitelist that website so that ads are displayed, because it does pay. I like doing what I do, but I gotta say, with all the time that I put into what I do, if there wasn't some form of monetization on YouTube, I couldn't do this. I wouldn't need to take this time slot and work as a tech guy because of that. But even that, the YouTube monetization is kind of cheap. And I got to say that really, ate the fact that, I don't want to rant about all of that, but, that's the thing is there needs to be a form of money coming in, or else I won't have the possibility to do this. I do enjoy doing this, but without at least a minimum of income, I can't continue. And so, whitelisting some of the websites that you go to, because I'm not alone. I look at Paul Thurrott. Paul Thurrott didn't really like the fact that he had to start giving premium content and charge for it. He actually totally hates the idea. But he noticed that unless he does that, he won't be able to continue on giving out, all sorts of tech info and having, his website, which is pretty cool, Thurrott.com. And, as a creator myself, of course, I have subscribed to Paul Thurrott, because as a creator myself, I just totally feel the guy. I mean, the guy's saying, well, I have to do something to have more income. And it's the same for me. I need ideas and I need things to have more income. One of the things, I have donations that I ask for, but they're way too small to do any impact. And thank you for everybody that gives, but you know what? I have to also think, because one of the things that I hate is also bothering people with money. And so I have to find creative ways of, having something that will generate income with what I do. Not always, bother with everybody. So, it's sad to rant about money, but unfortunately we have to pay rent, we have to pay the bills, we have to eat, and we have to, try to have a certain amount of living here. And so that's, we're trying to do different things here. I'm working on different aspects of monetization in everything I do. So, don't hesitate to whitelist every website you go to enable the ads to go through and have those websites get the income that they need. Because if everybody starts using an ad blocker, all the content that you love on the internet, you'll suddenly have to pay to get it instead of having it free. I've always, I understand some websites are annoying with ads, and that is true. But I've also seen people annoyed at just the fact that there's an ad on the website they go to. And I never understand that, because it's like, well, if you don't like the ads, don't look at them, just look at the content. because I guess you're happy to have free content. And if you're happy to have free content, well, just think about it 1 second. Free content is not free. It's paid by somebody else. So for example, partly why I can do this is because there are companies that have ads on YouTube, and basically it's big companies that are giving me a revenue through AdSense and through the ads that Google displays. So, that's the thing. That's the way it works. Somebody has to pay for it. And it's not always easy to see how things work. And, a lot of people miss the fact that the content they love that is free is, to just make sure that the websites and the places you visit are at least giving you the possibility to continue making money. And basically, the idea is not to watch ads that you don't want to watch. The idea is just to make sure that they're displayed, and of course you can skip ads and everything. It's okay. Another question that comes from Annie. Annie says, first time that I am actually watching your show last week, and she has a few questions. She says that she's kind of surprised that there was a cumulative update and especially a security update last week. And she says, aren't security updates only on the second Tuesday of each month, or is it changed? Actually, no. Last week we had a cumulative update. And why do we have security updates out of that second week, the second Tuesday every month? Very simple. That was extremely important. Usually, if there's what we call an out of cycle update, that means that the update is extremely important because it has a security flaw that's already exploited. So it's very important to apply it, and that's why they send it out of, I expect to have one soon. Maybe it's going to be on the next week. Next Tuesday is Patch Tuesday, of course. We're already going to be the second Tuesday of the month of November next week. But Google has found a very, very serious flaw in Windows 10 that needs to be fixed, because our computers right now on Windows 10 are vulnerable to bad guys right now. So it's important to apply the updates of last week for security, for the Flash player, but also there's tons of fixes in last week's cumulative update. It fixes a lot of things in Windows 10, so if you have something broken somewhere, I think it's great to install that update also. A question coming from a regular viewer to my channel, Laura, from Laura's Life channel. She has something called a monthly roll-up update in the optional updates of Windows 8.1. And she says she's getting a preview for the monthly roll-up. And what that is that the preview, the monthly roll-up preview update, is different. It's not an update that is sent out as a Patch Tuesday update. It has nothing to do with security. It has to do with improvements in how Windows 8.1 works. So what you have there in the optional section is improvements and changes in some of the Windows 8.1 operating system settings and modules and the way that it works. It is optional because you don't have to apply it if you don't want to. And if you do apply it, it simply kind of upgrades some of the stuff inside the operating system itself. So it's up to you. You don't have to install it. Very often most of the time I tell people when there's optional stuff, just ignore it for most of the time. And I guess, it's maybe to look at what's that monthly roll-up and what does it add. Maybe you can search for information by using its catalog number. You should see a KB and a number with it. Maybe you can Google that and you'll see what it actually upgrades on your PC. But it is features that are upgraded in there. So that's the monthly roll-up preview. You will probably have some of those from time to time that upgrade Windows 8.1 features, basically. And you've got also Frank that says, little question here, I've got a 28-inch monitor, and when I display certain colors, some pixels seem to be staying and a different color. And he says, for example, when I display blue, I've got several white pixels in the blue. They are not super easy to see, but they are there. Is my screen defective? What's happening? This screen is about 4 years old. Yeah, burned pixels are very common on monitors. Actually, for maybe you guys don't know this, but on a 50-inch TV like this, for example, the average, when you buy it brand new, the average burnt pixels is 10. So when you buy a 50-inch TV, you will have in general 10 pixels that are burnt out in average on your screen, and this is acceptable. It's in the norm. Some people go crazy and go to the, they look at the TV. A friend of mine does that. He buys a 50-inch TV and he runs a test with different colors, red, green, blue, and so on, and checks the screen carefully to see if there are burnt pixels. And if he sees some, he returns the TV and he gets another one. But on average, everybody has burnt pixels. You know what? I've never done the test on this TV and I've never really checked it. There could be some burnt pixels, but the resolution here is so big that even one little burnt pixel is almost impossible to see sometimes. It all depends on having a solid color background. But on average, there's 10 pixels that are already burned out on pretty much every TV. And it's the same for monitors. Computer monitors that are basically is, there's a lot of little pixels in there, a lot of transistors, because what's happening is often it's one of the transistors that is linked to that pixel that is defective. There are regular screens, and they all have, in general, defects. I don't remember, there was a test in, trying to remember what computer website. They tested like 30 or 40 different PC monitors of 20-inch and more. And they said that out of the 30 monitors, every single monitor had burnt pixels. And if you call the company, so say you call, if I call Toshiba, for example, for this TV, and if I tell them, oh, I've got 6 pixels that are burnt, they're going to tell you that it's not broken. It's normal. It's in the norm of their own manufacturing. And that perfect pixels are almost impossible to have on most devices. So basically, and it's often a defective transistor, very often. And it's something that's part of the new types of TVs we have. And it's not always easy to see. If you're, for example, I use my 50-inch TV here for the display computer screen. So on a solid color like the blue that I have here, it could be easy to see a pixel that's burnt out. But on moving images, watching TV, you'll never notice that you have a burnt pixel somewhere. Never. Never. It's never going to be visible enough that you're going to see it. Never. So basically that's, that's the thing. So is it defective? Well, if you have multiple, of course, that could be a sign of wear. If you have, 15, 20, 30 pixels, or if you have more and more pixels that are burning up, there could be a defect, a defect on your monitor. That is true. It all depends. Is it something that is annoying you? Because one of the problems with a burned pixel, and that's probably why it's better to not know where they are, is that once you see one, you always focus there. And every time you look at something, you're always looking at that little part of the screen to see that burned pixel. That's more the annoying part of a burned pixel. But if it doesn't, or from what you do, it doesn't matter, you can leave it like that also. Who knows? Okay, what else do we have here? We have questions that are on the creators update, and those questions come from Linda. Linda says hello, and she says that she has Windows 10 anniversary update, and she was wondering what I know about the upcoming creators update, new features. So what will be new? We still don't know that much about the new stuff on the creators update, and they're pretty much showing up as we get new and new insider previews. But there are many options in the settings menu we know are going to change. We know that Edge is supposed to have a few new important upgrades also that are still not here right now. We know also that, of course, because of the 3D perspective that Microsoft's pushing, we're going to have some stuff that's going to be interesting to see about the 3D options side. Also working with some of the new virtual reality headsets and so on. So, but we don't know that much yet. As for the pricing, is it going to be free? Yes, it is. They have mentioned it's still free, and there's nothing to make us think that anything will be not free on Windows 10 upgrades for the regular user for now. Random questions about, we have Stephen Mail that wants to know if is LG Cosmos is considered a smartphone. Yes, it is. It is because of the way that it is. I've looked at the specs and everything. It's a kind of smartphone. It's not a smartphone like the smartphones we have today, like the Galaxy S7 and stuff like that. But it is a smartphone because it lets you do a lot of things. You said that you've got a new option for unlimited text. But it's running a very unique operating system. It's not Android. It's not an Android phone. It's some kind of unique operating system for the type of phone you got there. But it, yes, is in the category of a smartphone. Also, I have Susan that says that she has a LG flip phone. And she says it actually is starting to wear out. And she's wondering what would make a difference in keeping a basic flip phone like she has now, or getting a smartphone for her to use every day. Basically, it all happens. The answer to that is dependent on what you do. You know what? A lot of people just use flip phones, and they are quite okay with that, and that's all that they need basically. But smartphones will enable you to have apps and have more of a screen for viewing stuff and surfing the web. The basic phone versus the smartphone also has one thing that you have to be careful. It's that you need you will have an increase in your in the price of your monthly package when you have a smartphone. So if you don't want to have to pay more, or maybe you're better with a basic phone. And if, going on the web on a small screen like this, or playing or having apps of all sorts doesn't appeal to you, basic phones are quite all right also. It all depends what you will do with that phone. And there's also a question here coming from Walt. Walt says, I've got an Android phone, and now I'm going a little berserk because this Android phone has been using several gigabytes of data, and you don't really do much with it, as you say here. A little bit of Facebook, a little bit of live texting with Messenger, stuff like that. But the problem, and you're wondering why you are taking so much data. It's been 2 months in a row now, and you've been averaging 4 to 5 gigabytes every month. What could be happening? Several things. First of all, remember that when you are home and you have a Wi-Fi router, try to put your phone on the router all the time. Always, in your house, leave your Android phone on the Wi-Fi. And the reason I say that is because many Android phones download updates to the operating system at night when you're not using it. And if you are not on your Wi-Fi, it's going to download it over the data connection, which could run several gigabytes. So that could be one thing. You might have had several updates that are running your data through the roof. So make sure that you always put your phone on Wi-Fi at home. Also, go into the applications. If you go into your Android phone and you have in the settings, you can see in the applications what applications are using data on your connection. So let me just check out here. So if I look at, just take a look at applications and applications manager. Just gonna check it out here. You can actually see how many gigabytes each app are using on your data connection. So maybe that's something you should look at, data usage. In the data usage, you'll have that information, and you can go and see by application. So I have him here, and it tells me that, for example, Google Services is using 5 megabytes. Pokemon Go used 36 megabytes. My emails, 14 gigabytes, and so on. So whatever you're doing, you know how much data you're using with each app. Try to pinpoint an app that might be using some data here. And it all depends on what you're doing. And of course, be careful with what you do. If you have the habit of watching YouTube videos or any types of videos on Facebook, sometimes videos start running by themselves. In the options, you can just stop that. Video playing can really, really run your data really fast into the very high gigabytes. I can tell you that. So if all of that fails, what I would say is to go into your settings, and when you are in about device, go there, and you'll be able to basically reset your phone completely to 0. You might need to reset your phone or even plug it on your computer. And I don't know what phone you're using. Your manufacturer is probably making a little software that you install on your PC and reset your phone to have it start from scratch. There are I've seen cases of people having Android phones that have viruses on them, and it actually downloads tons of data through your connection. This is live tech show number 51, and we are Tuesday, November 1st, 2016. I hope you're enjoying our show. And you can send the questions here, helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com, but you can also, will be soon checking out questions through the chat room in a few minutes. So, hey, we are at the time of the raffle, and I will be checking out who, because I noticed that my phone says that there was some PayPal activity, so I'm going to check out who has maybe sent a little something to continue on. And so let's check out what happened in the activity here on the PayPal account. And we will add Bobby Burgess that added a little $5 donation. So we are adding Bobby, and so now it becomes a 33% chance between 3 persons to win Tim Robinson's tablet. So that's going to be interesting. And of course, it's all fair and square. And before, I'm going to leave it a little bit of time again to before we do it. And we'll see who is going to win a Windows 10 8-inch tablet offered graciously by Tim Robinson. That is very kind. And thank you, Tim. I got to say, thank you very much. It's really cool that you've offered this. And got a few questions that came today. Douglas Elliott that says, hey Gilles, my Asus laptop is fully up to date, but I don't see the Windows Ink icon on the taskbar that I see on my HP tablet. Is there a setting that I need to be enabled? My laptop has a touchscreen. Keep up the good work, Doug. So Douglas, yes, you do have to activate it. On your tablet, it's activated because the Windows Ink workspace was thought of for touch devices. So it's by default activated on touch devices. But if you have a non-touch computer, it's most of the time not there. And even if you have a touch computer, if you don't see it, what you need to do is go in the taskbar at the bottom and right-click on the taskbar. And there, you will have Show Windows Ink Workspace button. All you have to do is click there to put a check mark. So just right-click on the taskbar and put the check mark and Show Windows Ink Workspace button. And you should have it appear on your computer. If you have the latest version, it should be available on every Windows 10 operating system. So, are you guys ready to know the winner of the Windows 8 tablet, that Tim Robinson? So I've got a Halloween hat that I was wearing yesterday. And I'm going to show everybody that it's fair and square. There's absolutely nothing in the hat. And so basically, I've got 3 names. So here, nothing in the hat. I'll put it right here in front of the TV. So I'm putting in not Trang. And here. And here. So I'm going to bend them exactly the same. One name in the little hat. Stephen Mail. So maybe I should show the names to make sure that everybody sees Stephen Mail. And I'm going to show you the other one too, because there's tons of YouTubers that think everything is rigged in the world. So okay, here we go. So I don't know if you guys can see the name, but this is not Thrang. I'm going to try to show you guys a little more. I don't know if you can see here. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can read it, but not Thrang. And anyways, this is fair and square. I'm not making anything up. I don't see why it should be. So Stephen Mail, so I don't know if you can see your name somehow, but this is the paper with Stephen Mail on it. We're going to do the same little four. And finally, Bobby Burgess. It's here. It's right here on that little piece of paper. Hope you can see your name, but that's fair and square. Once again, same way of putting this in the little hat. So, okay. I don't think that, you know. Carol says, praying that the names change to mine. Okay. Basically, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's spelled wrong. We'll know who it is. So it's unfortunate we don't have the virtual way of somebody in the chat room being able to put his hand inside the little hat here. So I'm mixing up, not looking at anything, not feeling anything, no special ink or anything. So you guys ready? I can see the tension. You know, you guys, the funny thing is, with the Quebec laws on lottery, I technically am illegal to do this raffle here in this province. The only province in Canada that is the case. So, okay, I got a paper here. I've going around, and around. And I think it's going to be nice to see who's the winner. I don't know why. I'm not the one winning, and I'm kind of all excited to see who it's going to. Okay, here we go. Well, it's going to Not Thrang. So here's the name. So here goes. The way it's going to work is that I'm keeping the hat and the two remaining papers. And if in the next week, for any reason, we do not have a return from, because I will be sending him a little email saying, hey, you want an 8-inch tablet? I need your full address and everything. So we're giving him until next show 52 next week. And if for any reason he did not claim his prize, then we'll have the two other ones and we'll try it out. So thanks for everybody that participated. I hope you're not too sad for those that lost it. So we're keeping this paper. And you know what? I'll give you all the information. Tim will know the information anyways also, because I will be giving him, hopefully, the full address. And if you're watching, Not Thrang, you can already send me an email at helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. I'll be contacting you with the email I have on PayPal. And let's just see here. Got an email on PayPal. There you go. Let's check it out. Yep. I'm going to send you a little email, and which is hopefully we'll get all of your credentials. And I'm keeping this for next week. If for some reason he doesn't want it, or he doesn't give me any details, well, next show we'll take the two papers that are left and we'll have the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So Not Thrang is the winner of an 8-inch tablet, and I will be forwarding all of that information to Tim Robinson as soon as I get all of those details. And don't despair. Maybe he doesn't want it. Maybe he's just, wanted to give a donation, and that's all. Let's cross our fingers, and maybe somebody could still win. Who knows? So we'll know next week, and I'll, of course, congratulate our friend here for winning in our little raffle. Thanks, everybody that really... everybody that participated in this little contest. Okay, what else do we have? We have a chat room full of people, and it's still a little bit of time left. Anybody has a comment, a question, something about anything? We're going to check the... I'm going to say hi to everybody, by the way. Tim Robinson, Carol T. We have Helmut Lepisek. Hope I'm pronouncing right. Bobby Burgess. Grapple Pearls. Nice to have you on board. Regular questions. And... I will, by the way, I just want to mention, I was thinking with this raffle that from time to time, I will take a little bit of that YouTube monetization money and buy little devices here and there, and maybe do from time to time some raffle with, I don't like to, just like everybody that's watching, I would like maybe a raffle more like I have a PC question that I will ask, and whoever gives me the right answer is going to be in the little hat, and, USB thumb drives, all sorts of little things like that. I think that could be fun, people receiving little gifts like that. So, this is not going to be the last raffle. Don't worry about it. And I think that could be cool. So, of course, really nice to have you on board. Do you know a good place for resources, group policy for Windows 10? If you want to learn more about group policy editing on Windows 10, one of the websites that there's a lot of information about that is, what's the name of that website? It's Geek something. I'm trying to remember Geek. What is that Geek website? I'm trying to remember. Geek. I'm trying to remember that website. Oh, How To Geek. How To Geek is a great resource for a lot of stuff. And going there will give you a lot of information, and they have extensive articles on everything. You can search and go into the search box here and say, group policy, stuff like that. And if you do so, for example, if I type group policy, editor, it's probably gonna, or the GP edit. So here it goes. It gives you group policy management. You can, what is group policy in Windows, how to see group policies, how to apply, all sorts of things. There's all sorts of articles, how to map a network drive via group policy, see which registry setting a group policy object modifies, all sorts of things. I think How To Geek is a nice little resource. Why does whitelist not work for a day and then not work the next day? One of the things that you got to be careful with whitelisting is to make sure that every time you go to the website, it's always at the same place. Whitelisting, okay, is very important. You have to whitelist the domain name. So for example, if you are going to a website like How To Geek, you need to whitelist howtogeek.com, not the page that you just went on, because that page will be whitelisted, but everything else in that website will not be. So make sure that it is the basic domain name of a website that is whitelisted. That's very important. Very important. Are you going to get yourself the new studio? Unfortunately, I really don't have enough money to buy a studio PC. But you know what? If I had the cash, I would get that for sure. So you did that, Stephen Mill. That is weird. Is it on every website, by the way, or just a specific website? And is it with AdBlock Plus on Edge, or is it everywhere? So nope, I will not. I do not have the resource for buying a $3,000+ computer, but I would like that. I really would like that. Really, really. Hey, C. Perry, nice to have you on board. Hey, Joanne, nice to have you on board. Sean Robinson. What else do we have? I hope I'm not missing. Henok Nefdal, nice to have you on board, everybody. So, that's interesting. Specific to AdBlock Plus on Edge. Maybe there's a bug in the AdBlock Plus, I would say. Maybe it's a bug in the AdBlock Plus on Edge. That's all I could see, especially if it's only Edge. I can tell you. I think Edge might have problems even with the extensions. There's something, wrong for sure. Henok Nevdal, great to be here from Norway. Nice. Cool to have somebody from Norway. Hey, 1990 Sunbird. Nice to have you on board. Herman Milstein, nice to have you on board. Your show is the greatest. I am addicted every Tuesday. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. It's really, really, really fun to do these shows. Hey, Douglas, nice, cool. You got the ink icon. Yeah, it is simple, but you have to know where to go. That's the thing. The client I had this morning, she's looking at me and she says, "Wow, you do all the things so quickly," and so it's like, and she looks at me and she says, "You know what? I'd be better off even if I had only 25% of all your knowledge. I already would be really good." And her husband looked and said, "Only 25%?" And she looked at me and she said, "Look at how good he is. I'm sure that knowing just 25% of his knowledge is already fantastic." It was just funny. Grable Pearls, tell us something about yourself. We don't know. Lol, family, favorite food, favorite TV show, etc. Okay, family. I am from a family of 4. 2 guys and 2 girls. We are now 3 left. One of my sisters, died of breast cancer 5 years ago. She was only like 56 or 57 years old. So we are, what else? I am a happily married man. I also, what my favorite food? I like a lot of food, but I gotta say I love pasta. If you make pasta, if you invite me for supper or anything, for dinner, and you make pasta, you have won me over 1,000,000 times. I love pasta in every type of form or whatever. I just love the thing. But you know, I love a lot of I'm open to a lot of food. I like foods from different countries also. You know, I like tasting new stuff. I think it's cool. TV shows, favorite TV shows. I don't watch TV that much, basically. But I do enjoy watching some shows on Netflix, stuff like that. One that I've been really, really enjoying, and it's a shame there's just 6 shows, is on Netflix. Man, what is it called? Trying to remember the name. It's 6 people that rise from the dead and that are in a city. I'm trying to remember the name. I like. It's more categories. I would say that I like tech shows. I like science fiction and horror stuff. If you want me to watch a romantic movie, you really got the wrong guy, because I am. I always say that I'm zero romantic, but everybody around me says that I'm not that bad. You know, I'm the kind of real guy that just isn't romantic that much, but I guess it's okay. So you know, what else do I have? I love having a beer. I love having I go to a karaoke bar where I sing my heart out all the time. So it's really cool, really cool. And that's pretty much, you know, I'm easygoing guy. I'm probably, of all the people that you would know in your life, I'm one of those that is just take it easy. You know, there's something that we're gonna do. You know, I have a few people around me that are kind of always going crazy when there's something wrong, and I was like, just relax. Well, take it easy. And you know, I always have that phrase that I say, that is, well, take it one step at a time. Don't look at the big picture. You're going to go crazy if you look at the big picture. One step at a time, and we'll get at the end. That's going to be okay. That's pretty much, you know, basically. Have I ever had a very embarrassing tech guy visit to a customer's home? Of course, one of the two stories that are embarrassing a little bit is, well, 3. One of the things that I really, really enjoy is going to clients' homes with my bicycle. I am a very, very happy cyclist. I pedal about 3,000 kilometers per summer. It keeps me in shape, and I just love it. So one day I go to clients, and when I actually am arriving there, and it's pretty far away, it's like a 45-minute bike ride, I get off my bike, and I have my Levi's jeans that tear right smack in the middle from the front, just below the fly, and all the way under, and it's really, really open wide, and you can see my underwear really well. And you know, I sit down, I get there. When I'm standing up, it doesn't show, but when I sit down, of course, it's easy to see. But I'm thinking I'm just gonna, you know, really put my legs close together to make sure that she doesn't see that it's, you know, all teared up. But of course, you're doing your tech job and you're showing stuff, and you don't remember that. You forget that it's open. And at some point, I just, you know, opened my legs a little more, and I could see that the lady, when she's asking questions, she is every 30 seconds staring at my crotch. And at some point, I'm like, oh God. And, you know, so I looked at her and I said, I'm really sorry. I just, you know, got off my bike and my jeans just tore up open. I'm really, really sorry. And it's like, okay, that was a little embarrassing. I got to say that's an embarrassing moment. That's one of those embarrassing moments, I got to say. Yeah, of course. I've never told some of those stories. I go to this client, and I arrive there, and it's like the tall, muscular guy. And as I'm entering his home, he tells me, it's upstairs. The phone's ringing, so he's got to answer the phone. He tells me it's upstairs on, the right side, the room on the right. So I just go up, go in the room on the right while he's on the phone, and I start looking at the computer. And as I am looking at the computer, I look at the wall, and suddenly there's a giant poster of the guy totally naked. And it's really big. It's like the full wall is the giant poster of that guy naked. So the first thing that I'm telling myself is like, okay, the guy loves himself really a lot, having a poster of himself naked like that. And I'm wondering. And so he gets there and says, oh, by the way, sorry, I forgot to warn you. I hope you're not too uncomfortable with the naked picture of myself on the wall. And I was like, well, I gotta say I'm a little surprised, but And he starts telling me that it's a promotional picture because he's actually a porn star, and he starts telling me all these names of adult movies that he's a star in, and I'm like, I don't really want to know about that because it's okay. But it doesn't stop there. As we are fixing the computer, he has a specific problem that is, I can't have webcam connections with other people using a very specific software. And that software is basically a software where gay guys connect with other gay guys and, do things together, basically. So he says, do you think it's fixed? But I said, well, I think it's fixed, but without connecting to somebody, I don't know. So he goes on and he says, well, you mind staying here and we'll try it out. So I'm like, okay, we'll try it out. So he looks at a list and he clicks on someone that connects with him, and on his like 28-inch screen, I see this other guy at the other end of the world that is totally naked, and his dinghy is really, hard. It's just like, well, I've seen it all in one afternoon, just going there. It's like, okay. And that's just okay. One story that was kind of unique is a guy that it doesn't live far from me, by the way. He's a school teacher. And I hope you wore gloves on that repair. I got to tell you, I've seen so many really horribly dirty keyboards. It's just incredible. So I go to this, the guy that, asked me to fix his computer, and he tells me that something is wrong with some of the websites he visits. So, I try his computer, and, he's got his wife and kids running around, and I'm like, okay, I've gone to, after about 20 minutes, I look at him and say, look, I've gone to at least 30 websites, and they're all okay. So you're going to have to tell me what website doesn't work. So he looks at me and he says, well, can you keep it quiet? I can't go to gay411.com. And I'm like, okay, now I understand why you didn't want to tell me, and why we have to keep it quiet, because there's the wife and the kids are running around. So I tell him, look, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the website in a tab, and every time somebody comes, I'll just switch tab to some other website to make sure that nobody sees what's happening. And of course, gay411.com does not work well. And so I try to see what's wrong with the browser and why it doesn't work. And of course, I switch, from one to the other all the time because kids are running around and watching the computer and stuff like that. And at the end, in my head, I'm telling myself, wow, this guy goes on gay websites to meet guys, and he's married and has all the children's, and, it's like, it does have a weird feel to it, but it doesn't end there. When I actually am finished, I get up at the computer, he pays me, and he takes my hand, and he tells me, you wouldn't by any chance be interested in having sex with me, because I find you really attractive. And I'm like, okay, no, that's not gonna happen. But I'm flattered, but that's not gonna happen. So it's like, oh God, you get out of there and you're like, wow. And you're thinking that guy is a school teacher, and you're like, what the hell? Really? Another story, I go to this old couple. They're like 75 plus years old. And we have to switch from the old computer, and they bought a brand new computer. And when he bought the new computer, we have to transfer the stuff. And basically, I'm transferring the files. And I have this special cable that I'm really proud of because I plug the cable and it's transferring, and it's pretty cool. So basically, at a certain point, there's an error message on the screen. It stopped transferring the files. So I have to look into where did it stop because, I'm a professional. I want to make sure that there are no missing files. And of course, it had to break in my pictures folder, first of all. So I'm like, okay, it broke in my pictures. So it means I'm going to have to check what folder, and it says, okay, it says something like, nude pictures and there's two names. And I'm like, really? It had to break in the middle of not only my pictures, but a folder that has nude pictures. And the nude pictures, actually, the nude pictures are actually the old couple. They are naked in different positions. And I'm like, oh God, I really didn't want to see that. But I know that it's there, so I know that I've just started the transfer from there and continue on. But there's a problem. The problem is the computer is so slow that now I have, by mistake clicked on the mouse, and the picture of the old woman is full screen, and she's coming from the kitchen. I can see her that she's coming slowly, and I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. So I click the little X on the upper right corner. But when I click the X, the computer is so slow that instead of just shutting down, it just goes down like this on the screen. And you're like, oh God, it's going to take 40 seconds just to close that damn picture. And as soon as she arrives and she looks at the screen, the picture does, boop, gone. And I'm like, oh God, I look like a pervert that's going to watch old people naked. And I'm like, oh God, I'm never going to do this again. Whatever happens, you know what? And after that, I'm like, whatever happens, I couldn't transfer. I'm going to tell them I couldn't transfer the rest. I'm not going there again. I can tell you, this is, and you know what? If something has to happen to me, it always does happen to me. I'm that kind of person. There's always something weird that's going to be happening that day. It has to happen to me. Another story. It's a Monday morning, and I am, the way I work is always that I like to have my mornings to relax. Some people like to go to work and do their stuff at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm the kind of guy that wants to have his mornings relaxed. and I start my tech jobs like at 1 in the afternoon. I prefer working in the afternoons and evening, and the next morning I just relax with my coffee and it's cool. So this girl calls and she says, well, can you come Monday morning at 7 a.m.? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh my God, that's way too early for me. And I say, oh, you don't have any other place like in the afternoon or anything? And she says, the only time that I'm free is early in the morning. So I'm like, okay, can we do it at 8? So she agrees. Yeah, okay, 8 a.m., but no later than 8 a.m. So it's Monday morning. I'm in front of her door. It's 8 a.m. I look like somebody that hasn't slept for 3 months, because that's what I look like when I wake up at last minute and I just go to the job. I get in. It's winter time, so I just get inside and I have my boots on, and I have, of course, to take the boots off. So I start taking my boots off, but I kind of lose my balance. So I have to put my hand on the wall as to not fall down to the floor. And as soon as I put my hand on the wall, there's a giant poster. I just rip it off the wall. It's like schlack, no more posters. And I'm like, okay, I'm really sorry. And she's looking at me and she's like, well, it doesn't matter. I was about to take it out anyway. It's been there so long. And in my head, I'm like, God, I just entered and just ripped off a poster. But it doesn't end there. I continue. I probably walk halfway in that little space that she has. And she has a dog, and the dog just runs in my legs, and I almost fall down. Once again, putting my hand to try to hold on. And there's like a door with like a vertical blind over it. And as soon as I touch, the door on the other side falls because there's like nothing holding it, and I just rip off the vertical blind that she put there because she doesn't want nobody to see what's inside that room. And I'm like, okay, it's been 5 minutes. I've ripped off the poster. I've pushed the door on the other side and it fell down and broke something because I could hear that it broke something. And I ripped off a vertical blind that was on the door. And I'm like, okay, this is the worst day of my life right now, 5 minutes into it. And I fix her computer and everything. And basically, I get out of there and I'm thinking in myself, she's never going to call me back. Never. And she never did. She never did. That is just fun. Oh yeah, it's cool to have the chat. It's going to be there every week now, so I think it's going to be fun. And one last story, maybe. One last story. There's this guy that calls me up, and he tells me he's got a problem with his computer. And, the first 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes are actually okay. I'm fixing everything that I see isn't right. And he's talking to me like a very normal person. After about 45 minutes, he looks at me and he says, by the way, can you check my computer for, if people, can connect to it, like the FBI or something like that, can you see if somebody's connecting from the outside world to my computer? And in my head, it's like, well, that's an odd request, but I'll check and see if anything's unusual in the connection and all of that. And I continue working on, and he picks up the phone, and he calls a girl, and he says, hey, Julie, that guy's on our side. We don't have to worry. He's okay. And he just hangs up. So at that point, I'm thinking, oh God, did somebody forget to take a pill of some kind today? And he starts telling me that, okay, you know what, I'm being followed everywhere. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay. Do you really want to be the tech guy for my stuff and everybody I know? Because, you know what? We are followed by the FBI and we are followed by the Canadian services. And basically, I'm like, what the hell? And all I was thinking all the way through is, okay, I just want to get out of here because now it's getting way too bizarre. And as I'm going out, he's looking everywhere and he's saying, oh, be careful. The FBI must be around here. It's like, I'm in Montreal, Canada. What does the FBI do here? So, you know, I'm going home and I'm like, man, that guy forgot some kind of medication. For sure. Or it just wore off because for the first 45 minutes, it seemed okay. I have another lady that called me up and says, you know, when she calls me up, she says, well, can I have the number of a few of your clients so I can verify that you're a real tech guy? And I'm like, well, would you like me to give your phone number to people that you don't know so they can call you up and see if I'm a real tech guy? So she says, well, no, actually, I would not like that. Well, I don't think my clients would like that either. So she says, yeah, but, you know, how do I know you're not some kind of, you know, murderer or whatever? And I look at, and not a look, but I'm at the phone, and I said, well, you know, I've never seen a murderer leave his phone number and business card at about 300 different places around town. That would be a first. If a murderer wants to go to your home, he's not going to, you know, post different ads everywhere. I don't think that's the way it works. So she's like, yeah, you're right. So she finally says, okay, can you come on, you know, Wednesday night? I'm okay, I'll be there. It's winter, so at like 7 p.m., it's really dark. I get to her home, and once I arrive there, I see that when I knock, there's the window here with the blinds, and I see the blinds open just a little bit, and she stares at me for like, I don't know, at least 45 seconds. And I'm like, okay, she's going to open the door and continue staring at what I look like. And she opens the door and she says hi. And while I start looking at her computer, she has a problem with a software that she's using that actually blocks her IP address from being visible. It's like a VPN style program. And she uses that, and I'm also, you know, and I'm actually fixing that, and I'm thinking, wow, she is completely nuts with, I don't want nobody to know who I am and where I am and whatever. So, first thing is she wants me, she looks at me and said, well, to fix your program, I have to re-download it. And she looks at me and she sees that I'm on download.com, which is the CNET download page. And she says, no, that's not the one. And I look at her and says, yeah, it's the same software. It's just that I downloaded it from here. Well, she says, no, you have to download it from my website. And I'm getting annoyed because with all that's been, you know, happening, and I remember that day I had kind of a hard day. Everything was like going wrong. So when I get there, I'm a little annoyed already. And with her request, I'm getting even more annoyed. So I look at her and I said, look, I'm the tech guy. I know where I can download the software. That is a correct website. I'm downloading it from here and installing it from here. So I install the software, and she looks at it and she says, it's not the same. And I'm looking at her, it's like, it's the same little bear icon, and it says version 0.13.4653. Same version you had before. Well, I don't think so. You're going to uninstall it and install it from my website. And I look at her and I said, I'm not uninstalling anything. This is the correct version. I got it from download.com, which is a correct website. And this is what you had. So she sees that I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. So she doesn't ask anymore. Yeah, something like that. Tunnel bearer, I don't know. But I remember it's a little bear icon. So continues on, and she's getting like phone calls every 5 minutes because she told her best friend, call me every 5 minutes to make sure I'm all right. So every 5 minutes she gets calls from her best friend saying, everything okay? Everything okay? It's like, man, you are completely nuts. It's just incredible when you think about it. And so once I get home, when that evening's over, she calls me back after 30 minutes and she says, look, you have to come back and uninstall the software. I'm sure it's not the correct software, and I want to have the one from my website. And I just told her over the phone, I'm not going back to your home unless you pay me what it costs for me to go to your home, because I know that what I did is all right and it's okay. It's like she never called me, and that's quite all right. You don't want to have clients like those. And no Learn the Tech Tonight special night. I have too many things that have been happening lately, and I have a few things that I need to do, but not tonight. And hey, we're going to end the show with my last story, and which is the story that everybody loves. Some of you have heard it, but most of you on this channel have never heard it. I get a call from this lady that wants to have her computer fixed. And so my first visit there is, the time here, by the way, is 5:01 p.m. late afternoon. It's still light out for the next 45 minutes. So I go there, and she's a really, really nice woman, and I'm the kind of guy that is funny. I go to the clients and I talk, and I always have these little stupid jokes that everybody laughs all the time. And I'm aware that they are stupid jokes, but you know what? Everybody finds them funny. So I'm telling my little stupid jokes, and she's laughing her head off because she's never heard them, and she's just finds that I'm actually really a cool guy. And but I see while I'm fixing the computer that her husband is sitting on the couch, and he looks mad. He looks like, who the hell is that tech guy making my wife laugh? And he really, really looks mad. And that's the feel I get. He looks mad. So I fix the computer, she pays me, and everything is okay, and I go away. About 6 months later, I get a call from the same lady, and I can't forget, because I'm like, oh God, her husband's going to be there looking at me with knives again, But she has a special request. She tells me, can you come on Friday night around 7 p.m. and don't eat, I'll have some food. So I'm like, okay. So I get there, and she has bought some pizza. And you know what? She doesn't know what kind of pizza. And I forgot to tell you guys one thing, is that lady lives in a house that is at least $1 million. Okay? I noticed that immediately when I got there. She's really, really, they are rich. You can see that. And she looks like, a distinguished woman. Every time she's, when I saw her, it's like she's, And basically, I go there, and she ordered pizza, but you know what? She doesn't know what I like, so she ordered 5 kinds of pizza. So there's like $150 worth of pizza in front of me. She is very thin, she's like really, really thin. So she eats 1 slice, and she isn't hungry anymore. And I've got so much pizza. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to force myself because she orders so many things. And there's not really a lot of problems with her computer. It's actually fixed in 5 minutes. And she says, so I say, well, it's all is fixed. So she says, come and sit down on the couch. And she pours me wine. And now I'm eating pizza and drinking wine, and we're talking. And at this time, she says, well, you must notice that my husband isn't here. And I'm like, yes, I did notice. In my head, it's the first thing I noticed because I just remembered how that guy seemed to really hate me. And she tells me, well, he's in Thailand. And you know what? He's in Thailand and he's probably having sex with little Thailand women. And I thought, well, why not have my tech guy over while he's not there? So I'm like, okay, it's weird. It feels weird. And anyways, we have a full evening, and I can tell you guys, it's the first time in my life that when I go home, the next morning I wake up, I have a headache, I'm hungover because she couldn't stop filling my glass of wine. So it's like, okay. So anyways, she's a perfect gentleman, doesn't try anything. We speak all night. I can tell you guys, I got there at 7. I got back home drunk at around midnight. If it's not 1 in the morning. So I remember when I got home, I was like, man, next time I go there, I have to go there using the bus or with my bike or something because I can't drive a car like that. So basically, she calls me up about a month later, and there's really nothing wrong with her computer. She was like, 2 minutes, and that's it. And that time, she bought sushi. But once again, there's like for $100 worth of sushi. She eats 2 pieces, and that's okay. And I'm like, okay, there's all that sushi, and the wine, and everything. And I remember that evening is a summer evening, and she's got this really big terrace where you actually are outside. And at some point, I'm outside, and basically what's happening is that, it's where she lives. We see the whole city. It's beautiful. It's the perfect night to eat outside. And basically, she goes to the restroom, and I'm sitting there and with the glass of wine, sushi, the city in front of me, and I'm like, I gotta say, in my head, I'm telling myself, I gotta say this is really romantic. It's very, very peculiar. And at that time, I actually post, because a lot of my friends know that I'm there, and I told them, well, I'm going to the rich client that pays everything that I. And so I go there, and I'm on Facebook. I post a status that says, well, crescent moon, beautiful weather, view on the town. I gotta say, it is kind of romantic. And I know that it's an inside joke with all of my friends on Facebook that are gonna see it. And one of my friends posts a comment and says, just a gigolo? And I'm like, okay. I look at the comment and I'm like, it does look like just a gigolo. Yes, I gotta admit, it really looks like that. I'm extremely, extremely, aware that it's very bizarre. And every time she pays me, and I always, the sushi time, I always tell her, I can't take your money. You've, given me wine, sushi, I've got 40 sushis to bring home. I can't ask you for money. And she insists. It's like, no, I'm going to give you money. So you came here for my computer, and I was like, what computer? It lasts 2 minutes. And then one time that don't worry, Helmut, she knows all about it. Don't worry about that. Basically, I get to, last time that I went there, it was Christmas time. And she asked me once again for her computer, and it's, 2 days before Christmas Eve. We're December 22nd. And at least she had something for me to install. Her husband, when he came through town, dropped off a home theater system, and then he got back into his Thailand romance stuff. So she had told him, I'll get somebody to do it, but he didn't tell him it was me. She just said, I'm going to get somebody to do it, and I'm sure he would not have agreed that it was me. So of course, in her mind, Gilles going to do it. I'm sure he can install a home theater system. And so I actually installed a home theater system. And of course, once again, food of every kind. And that evening, she didn't order, she actually cooked food for me. Wine. And I installed the theater system and everything. And she looked at me and she says, Gilles, you know what? One thing that I got to say is I enjoy every moment that we have together because you are a very intelligent man and you are my friend. And I understood that time that she basically didn't have any friends at all. And her tech guy was her friend. She basically paid, it's sad when you think about it, she basically paid me to be her friend. And that's pretty much it. And she was kind of happy for me to be there. And she never tried anything. She was perfect, really perfect, and never did try. And I do not, I feel people when I see them. For example, that guy that with the Gate 411 website that didn't work, I felt. Just by the way he looked at me, I could feel that, okay, if he doesn't ask me if I want to go out or something, he's probably thinking about it, and he told me. And I usually feel people, and I'm rarely wrong about the people I meet. And my feel with her was she doesn't want to have sex or anything. She just wants to have company. And there's that evening, we had a lot of fun and everything, and so she wants, she pays me, but instead of giving me my usual fee, she has a pile of cash, and she opens my hand and she puts the pile and she closes my hand and she says, "Merry Christmas, and every moment that I share with you is fantastic. And hope you have a very nice Christmas." And basically, of course, you're being polite. You don't open and start counting the cash. You're like, I just put it in my pocket. And I'm saying, I told her, I said it's way too much money. Because I just by the pile, I know that there's a lot of money there. And I'm like, it's way too much money. And she looks at me and she says, "You have no idea how it's worth it." And I put the money in my pocket, and I go outside, and I walk a few corner streets, and I just took the pile out and started counting. And she had given me like $560 or something. And I'm like, wow, that's way too much money. Way too much money. And I got home, and it's like, wow, I got $500 in my pocket from her. And you know what? For her, it was like, for me, it's like she just wanted to tell me, look, it's fantastic. And she called me once after that. That time it was a real computer problem, and I could see that her husband was in another room, and he was looking at me from time to time, probably kind of worried of, is that guy having an affair with my wife? And all the way that guy is having an affair with other women at the other side of the world. Basically a lonely woman, really nice. I actually told her, if you at least twice, if you need to talk to somebody, We can meet up somewhere, go in a restaurant, anywhere, and talk. I'd be happy to just, share some moments. I told her, it's like, don't hesitate. You can email me. You can, I was so sad for that woman, seeing how it was, And she was a beautiful woman. She was an intelligent woman. She was, she was really nice to talk to. I got to say, I enjoyed every minute that I had with her while we were talking, and I'm having wine and everything. And it's not the wine, it's not the money, it's not the food or anything. It was just a really enjoyable moment every time. So I haven't seen her in a couple of years now, and I hope she's she's good. So really nice, That's the kind of thing that is interesting. Of course, I did feel awkward. It felt awkward to start with, and it felt awkward. Every time I went there, but I felt very, very bizarre. It felt strange. But then again, after an half an hour to an hour being there, I don't know if it's the wine, but it's like, okay, it was okay. It's not too bad. And she was like, I would drink wine and she'd fill my glass all the time. And if the bottle was empty, she'd open another bottle. And she was always asking me, it's like, oh, you like wine or red? And I'm like, don't open another bottle. And she's like, yes, yes, yes. You want to have more wine? I'm going to, it's sad, but I don't think she's watching. She doesn't know of anything that I do on the web, and haven't been. I know that she had mentioned something about her and her husband moving to another part of Canada. So I am thinking that maybe they're moved to another town, and that's why she might not be there anymore, basically. So these were my tech stories, everyone. As you see, a tech guy's life is. Remember one thing is that I enter everybody's personal little home, and I enter everybody's life. And I see everything. I've seen from the poorest people that barely had the money to pay for my services. I went to some poor people that, after fixing the computer and looking at how everything was and seeing children and the wife and seeing that they don't have any money, telling them, what the heck, keep the money, buy something for your kids. I don't need money to the point of wanting to have that money from poor people that don't have any money. That happened a few times. It happened a few times that I've, halved my price or really charged a very low amount to specific people that I know that they are short on cash, and it was like, hey, give me $20, it's okay, I've seen rich people that have everything. I've seen distressed people. I've seen people, I talk a lot, and I have the feeling that the tech guy in me is also kind of, I'd say, the Dr. Phil, basically. Listening to everybody, people opened up to me and told me things that they've never told to anybody else. I can tell you that. It's interesting. It's actually very interesting to have the opportunity to go and enter everybody's homes. It's very, very particular. Some people, I have some clients that technically invited me to barbecues and all sorts of parties, saying, "Look, you're not just my tech guy. You're a friend. You're a friend. You're not just a tech guy." It's very peculiar and it's very interesting, and I'm extremely happy to have that side, because it is, yes, very, very interesting in many different ways, in seeing other people's lives, sad stories. I've seen, a few people that I've seen. I've been doing that for 17 years, and I've seen one of the most, I'd say, one of the rare times that I got out of a home and had a tear in my eye. There was this woman, very, very nice woman, that I fixed her computer many times. I think she called me like 2 or 3 times a year for all sorts of things, not just fixing, learning how to use this or that, she was a regular client 2 or 3 times a year for 10 years. And the last time that I went to her home was about, I think it was last year, in the summer. And, I remember that woman being a, healthy woman. She was not fat, but just a little, she was a little bigger woman. Let's say it like that, but not, okay. I mean, and that last time I went there, she was skinny, skinny, skinny. She had lost her hair, so I just understood immediately with no hair, oh God, she's got cancer or something. And, of course, didn't ask the question. You can't ask that question. It's like, you got cancer? You can't ask that. I'm fixing the computer. And once I finished, she gave me my money. She looked at me and she says, Gilles, take care and have fun and do the things you want to do in your life, because life is so short. And she was holding my hand and she said, I want to thank you for all the years that you were a fantastic tech guy. We won't be seeing each other again. I have about 2 months left to live. I don't think we will see each other again. Please take care. And I got out of that home, and I remember it was a nice sunny day. And I had 4 other clients to go after that. And she just kind of made me feel so sad. And I really had a few tears that I was on the sidewalk looking at the blue skies. There was a nice park on the other side with trees. I took my phone out and I called all of my clients I had that day, and I said, look, sorry, something has come up. Can we have our appointment at another day? And I started walking and just enjoying the beautiful day. I remember I walked home, and she lives like an hour and a half, at least an hour and a half walk distance from where I live. And I started walking home, and I was looking at shops and things. I was like, okay, I'm going to have an ice cream. I'm going to have an ice cream and sit down and just look at the people, have fun. And, it had a very, very big effect that day. I was like, okay, I don't feel like working today. I feel like why not just enjoy life today, okay? And the hell with the rest. And I was ready. I was even ready for the fact that if one of my clients said, well, if you don't come today, I'm not calling you again, that I would just tell the person, well, get somebody else. Because I was in the mood of, no, I'm not doing any other tech jobs today. I don't want to do that. I've seen people that I've gone to for example, a lot of clients that have given my number to their, like their mother or their grandmother or everything. And, sometimes you go to the client and it's like, oh, you remember my mom? You went there to fix her computer a couple of times? And I was like, yeah, well, She died, a month ago, and it's like you have to feel, because even though it's a short period of time, I don't know if it's the fact that you go inside people's homes, but you get a certain link with the people that you meet, and you see that, and it's like, wow, I've gone to a client that I remember, her wife, they were a happy couple, and I go there, one summer, and it's like, okay, I see that the husband has cancer and is, in treatment, and it's like, well, they're gonna go through. It's like he's gonna win. In my head, I'm a winner type of person. So when something happens, I rarely think of the bad things. I'm more of a person that thinks of the good things. And I went back there a year later, and that woman looked at me and said, "Oh, by the way, my husband died a few weeks ago." And I'm like, "Wow, this is incredible." You see all of that, and it changes your life. So, well, I'm sure. You know what, Grateful Pearls? One of the things that I have the most difficulty is sad kids. Children that tell you things, or that something happens, and I'm like, man, I can tell you, that's hard. So, hey guys and girls, it was nice to have that tech show with a little special ending tonight. And thank you so much for all of you being there. Hope you guys enjoy every little minute, and I do enjoy every little minute. And take care, everybody. Have a little something special tonight. Life goes by extremely fast, and I think we don't take the time to appreciate it, really. Bye, everyone. And so, no Learn the Tech. We'll see you all next week. And of course, Learn the Tech will be back next week. And 3 p.m. Eastern Time. That will, of course, now be 3 p.m. will now be 2000 hours UTC, because we are changing our times, our clocks. And take care, everyone. See you next week. Bye bye from Montreal, Quebec, Canada.